Hi guys, it's Tori again. I'm here with another kind of tutorial. I'm mostly going to talk about how I did it. I'm going to talk about painting shoes for costumes, because I know sometimes it can be really difficult to get paint that stays on the shoe without having to crack. So I'm going to talk today about how I did Licia's shoes, because the paint on them doesn't crack, and I thought it might be helpful. So the first thing I did was I used this spray paint on them, you can tell it's empty, and spray painted the entire boot that was light blue. What you have to do if your boot is a different color at the bottom is you're going to have to take tape. I used masking tape and I just taped the entire bottom of the shoe. I even taped that part of the shoe. And so the spray paint wouldn't get on this part of the shoe that was a different color. Although be warned that once it comes off, your shoe is going to be very, very sticky where the tape was, so you might have to goo-gong it or just take another piece of tape and just keep taping the bottom of the shoe. And you're going to need to let that dry for a few days. Spray paint smells atrocious, so I definitely do not recommend doing this in the house. I waited too long and had to do it in the house because it was blizzarding outside and it wasn't a good choice, so I definitely recommend you not put it off if you have to paint shoes, and to definitely try to paint them outside. If not, paint them in a well-ventilated room, because the fumes are awful, especially if you have pets. You have to be careful. So once that was done, dropped it. I took just acrylic paint. I'm not sure if my camera is focusing. There we go. This is the brand I used. I bought it at Pack-A-Tans. And just painted over the areas that I thought weren't very coated, in case I missed anything with the spray paint. And then I actually just painted another layer over the spray paint after I went through and fixed everything. Make sure it was all even and all the same color, in the event that the colors were two different colors. Two different shades of the same color. So after that, I painted the bottom of the shoes. For the bottom of the shoes, I used this. Here we go. It's a multi-surface satin paint. And the thing is, you don't really have to worry about this part of the shoe if you're painting this part of the shoe. This is the main problem area when it comes to paint cracking, because this part of the shoe isn't flexible and doesn't bend. And it's when you're painting this flexible part is the part that cracks, because it's used to being able to shift and move with your foot inside of it. So this part you don't usually have to worry about cracking. The most that it's going to have done to it is it's going to get scuffs because it's there. I recommend not painting. As you can tell, this bottom part of the shoe is not painted. I recommend not painting the bottom of the shoe, because once you paint the bottom of the shoe, it has no traction. And if you're walking on tile floor, you're going to slide everywhere, and it's not a fun experience. So if you can avoid painting the bottom of the shoe, I would definitely avoid painting the bottom of the shoe. Another thing to take notice of, there it is. There's so much fluff, it's hard to see. There is a zipper here, but once you spray paint a zippered part of the shoe, you are not going to be able to unzip it. I couldn't unzip this if I tried. It's basically glued in place. So that's something to keep in mind, is you want to make sure you can get your foot in the shoe without having to use the zipper to get in, because you won't be able to access the zipper once it's spray painted over. Well, you could avoid spray painting it if you do need it. Just make sure. So this is relatively simple. After all of that, I used this finish. Make sure you can read this, because this is the important part. It's a crystal clear acrylic satin cover, and it is indoor-outdoor, which you want if you're going to go inside and outside in these shoes for costumes, because they won't be able to take outdoor use if you don't use something that goes outside. Make sure you get the kind that says clear. And this part is the important part, because once that went on, the shoes stopped cracking. They cracked. Your shoes might crack after the first spray paint layer, but they won't crack once that's on them. As you can see, I'm moving around and they're not really cracking. This doesn't smell all that bad. But, do be careful with it. It dries very quickly, but I definitely would not try to wear your shoes until it's been a few days. Like, don't try to wear your shoes before it's been a few days. The same goes if you're trying them on after you spray painted them or painted them with acrylic and multi-surface paint. Don't try them on until you are absolutely certain it is dry. Don't take any chances, because if it's not dry, the paint is going to get everywhere and it's going to get messed up, and we don't want that. I bought the first can of spray paint at Walmart, but the other things were bought at Packetans. You can definitely buy all of this at Walmart, or you can buy all of it at Michael's, or any other craft store will have this stuff. It's not hard to find. It's not very expensive either. So this is just a very short tutorial on how I did Licia's shoes. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. If you have run into any problems, let me know. And have fun painting your shoes for cosplay. Bye!